Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'll just be giving you a few more seconds to get situated. Please note that all participants during this presentation will be muted, so you can always submit your questions in the Q&A feature on the side of the page, but otherwise we're going to wait till the very end to get to those questions. And then Kevin and I will jump in and go ahead and have an open discussion with you guys at the end of the presentation. So I'll give you guys a few more minutes to get situated, and then we'll get rolling. Let's talk marketing, guys. Let's pivot after pandemic. So we're all living in a global pandemic right now. Things are crazy, and we want to take some time out of our day-to-day and discuss, marketing during COVID-19 and, what we can do to pivot our marketing moving forward. So I'm Lindsay Griffith, and I'm with ThrivePOP, and I'm super excited to be presenting with Kevin from HubSpot today. And we'll deep dive right into what we do day to day within the marketing industry, and we'll discuss how COVID-19 has greatly impacted what we do in our careers and also how to market in 2020. And then we'll get into some easy ways you can easily pivot your marketing to adjust to this global pandemic, which last year, if you would have been telling me that I would be discussing this topic on a webinar, I would have thought you were crazy, but we all got to adjust. So let's get started. All right, so I'm Lindsay and I am with ThrivePOP, and I am ThrivePOP's creative content specialist. So I work exclusively within social media marketing, blogging, and content curation. So I manage all of our clients' social media accounts. So when COVID-19 hit, I was in charge of, managing all these different social media accounts and getting the messaging out there that, okay, things are changing, we're closing, we're either adjusting to curbside delivery or what have you. So I assisted these different businesses and online profiles and, increasing their online presence as well as adjusting the social media presence during the COVID-19 crisis. And this is still going on with, all these changes to rules and regulations constantly. So we're constantly adjusting our clients, social media presence depending on, just exactly what's happening in the world right now. So, and then I'll let you get right in with Kevin from HubSpot. All right, Kevin.
Hey guys. Yeah, thanks, Lindsay, and glad to be here. I will go ahead and point out, I don't know if this was covered initially, but this is a mask required event. So we do want to follow all CDC guidelines. I know you can't see my screen, right? Yes, but please, if you're attending, make sure you have your mask on, just for everyone's safety. All right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm Kevin and I work with HubSpot. Now, I'm not sure if everyone here is familiar with HubSpot, so just to give a brief introduction on them. HubSpot was founded in 2006. We're out of Cambridge, Massachusetts, but we also have offices all over the world, from Dublin, Sydney, Tokyo, Japan, Bogota, Colombia. And we specialize in several areas, but the biggest thing is just helping companies grow better. And we work with thousands of organizations around the world, from everything from managing all of their contacts and clients to developing a very powerful inbound marketing strategy, and everything from sales enablement tools, customer service. But my role within HubSpot, I'm what's called a channel account manager. And so I partner with our HubSpot certified agency partners, like ThrivePOP. And my background is in sales, but a lot of what I do is work with agencies like ThrivePOP to help them better position themselves in the market, making sure that they're maximizing their marketing and their sales efforts, and really bringing value to the clients that they work with, and making sure that they are optimizing all of their efforts, especially with how they're working with HubSpot. So what I'm hoping to bring to this webinar today are some really good statistics and strategies and some things that we're doing here at HubSpot and also just some really good information that can hopefully help you guys pivot during this pandemic.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So yeah, we can go ahead and kind of jump into it here. But obviously, COVID-19 has impacted things. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest understatements and something that everyone obviously knows right now. But currently, we are in bizarro world, as I would like to refer to it sometimes. And it's a very vulnerable time for a lot of businesses, and things are obviously changing. So right now, of course, there are a lot of companies that are very vulnerable. Economically, they're maybe not doing very well, or their cash flow is definitely down. But also, too, online presence is starting to become a much more important part of everybody's business, or if it's not, it should be. So when we think about how a lot of companies have been doing business in the past or relying on things, we think of things like going to networking events, or actually inviting clients to your office or going to their office, maybe doing some networking at a conference or having them physically come into a store. We do things like trade shows, or even like traveling or face-to-face meetings. And in general, across the country right now, none of that is happening. And so we're seeing a big pivot of companies who, before, they didn't really have to rely on their software as much or their online digital presence as much, versus now it's almost becoming a requirement. And this is where we're seeing companies either really start to embrace that, and be adaptable, and actually make some changes there, or essentially fail.
Yeah.
And so that's a big reason why we wanted to put on this webinar, was to kind of talk through how you can make those changes, and how you can be an adaptable company moving forward. So I think, like speaking to adaptability, I'd say that's probably really going to be a key factor for a lot of businesses moving forward, is really taking this digital approach to your marketing efforts and to your sales efforts, and actually embracing it as a long-term strategy. And if you can do that, it's really going to open up new channels for your customers to engage with you and to know who you are and who your business is. And if they can learn to engage with you in that way now, they're going to stick with you in the future as well.
Yes.
I think we all know digital isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And if anything, it's probably going to be an even more integral part to our client relations and our strategies. Yep.
Absolutely.
So right now, your clients may not be eager to shake your hands, but they definitely still want your help. And so if you can find a way to demonstrate how your business is willing to adapt, you're still there for your clients and able to support and engage with them, I think will help you secure your existing customers, but also earn new ones. All right, so jumping over to some actual statistics here on the next slide. This is one of the advantages of working with such a large company like HubSpot, is we interact with so many businesses across the entire world, and we're also able to get a lot of really good data and start making decisions based on that data. So we wanted to cover a few things that we felt were important here and kind of bring them to light. So as you can see on the slide, some of the things we've noticed are, for one, retailers have seen a 341% increase in online sales since April. So, that's more than a threefold increase. So that is obviously something to really pay attention to. Along with, since the pandemic has started in March, 40% of in-person shoppers have said that they now prefer to purchase items online, either for safety reasons or convenience, or both. We also see a 96% of social media users saying that they are engaging with social influencers more than the start of the pandemic. So having some tools to manage and maximize your social media outreach is definitely becoming much more important as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, moving on to this next slide here. now is the time to be online. So this is a really important thing to talk about, where if you're not already doing this or you don't already feel comfortable with your digital marketing presence, it's basically sink or swim time. So with all these people engaging much more, with our websites and with our digital marketing presence, you can see their web traffic right now is actually about 20% higher than it was pre-COVID.
Mhm.
And we're actually, consumers are initiating over 34% higher website conversions than they were a year ago. Now is when it's really important to do our best to take advantage of all these new website visitors.
Mhm.
So Lindsay's going to touch on some of this a little bit more later, but some of the ways that we can do that are to do things like incorporating live chat or chat bots into your marketing strategy and make it really easy for customers to engage with you and to convert into leads from your website. We also want to really take some time to find some creative ways to add value and to engage with your prospects by creating curated experiences and gated content. But the biggest thing really is having some kind of tools to really begin to engage with all these new contacts that we're getting, and do it in a very relevant and targeted way that's personalized to them. Because right now we're seeing a huge increase in the number of emails that people are receiving, but also a decrease in the number of emails that are being opened. So when we're reaching out to people and engaging with them, we want to make sure that we keep it succinct, we keep it relevant to the things that they're interested in, and that it's very targeted to them as a customer. And if we can do that, you're going to see a great increase in sales, and overall just better marketing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps. And I'm here to, I can talk much more about these statistics and information that HubSpot has afterwards or in the Q&A section. But next, I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay, and she can talk about the 5 ways your business can better market during COVID.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the intro, Kevin, and giving us some good statistics. We're going to jump into these different tactics that we've seen a lot of clients here at ThrivePOP have a lot of success with during COVID-19. And these are very easy adjustments that any of you guys can do to your marketing plans and your marketing strategies to really pivot how you do business during COVID-19 and how you can reach your consumer base during COVID-19. So one of the biggest things and opportunities you have right now is to build that email marketing list. So with that huge influx of people online, like Kevin had said, with more time on their hands, it means all these different offers can reach all these different people right now. So setting up a marketing campaign with exclusive offers for your goods and services is an awesome way to capture some new leads. And it doesn't have to be boring, not the typical pop-up of like, hey, give us your email and we'll spam you to death. No, there's tons of innovative ways that you can capture new consumers on your website. And I'll show you some few examples after this, but some of them are like enter to win giveaways, fun lead generation quizzes that are very interactive for the user, interactive games and spin to wins, and also email sign up rewards. So like that's the typical, 10% off, 15% off if you sign up for our rewards program or our newsletter, which I don't know if you guys saw this at all during quarantine, but I online shop a lot, and it really got really bad during Corona, but Lulu's is a clothing brand online, and they were doing a spin to win giveaway every day during coronavirus and during COVID. So what they were doing is every day you would go onto their website and they would have an interactive spinning wheel where every time you would pull on the lever, it would spin to give you a special discount code for that day, which would include like 50% off or, $20 off a pair of shoes or something fun. But every time you did this, you had to input your email and you had to sign up for the Lulu's rewards program, which is great because not only every time do you have to re-sign in to submit this spin to win giveaway, but these discount codes only count for 24 hours, which requires the user to then come back the next day, re-put in this code, re-spin the wheel for a new discount. And then essentially Lulu's over 2 months was able to track that user every day if they were participating, what their actions were on their website. So this was an extremely innovative way to get new people on the website, to give away these discount codes, and to collect email marketing data. And there's tons of, fun plugins and different things that are available out there like this that you can implement yourself on these websites, on your website, or even, promote these different ways through social media. So I thought that was a very fun example, and it got me a few times. So, all right. And then number 2, obviously you got to amp up your social media presence right now. Adults are using social media up to 51% more than they were during the pandemic, which I'm sure I'm, speaking for everybody here, but, during March, April, May, we were, glued to our phones and glued to social media to see what was going on. And that was the perfect opportunity to then be in front of your consumers. So increasing your company's social media presence is key. And there's very easy ways to build that engagement and to, move that algorithm along during COVID. And Facebook and Instagram actually made a lot of cool tools during quarantine and everything that makes it super easy for small businesses to stay in front of their audience. So for example, running an Instagram or Facebook giveaway is a great way to generate new engagement on your page. Just make sure, you're following the rules, because sometimes the Facebook police will get after you for not following the correct giveaway rules. And you definitely don't want your account shut down right now. Make use of Instagram stories and polls, questions, countdowns. The different tools that Instagram stories offers is huge. And I'll discuss it a little more on the next slide, but the importance of incorporating yourself into that Instagram algorithm as a business is just insane. And there's so many available tools on there that you need to utilize, and that will put you in front of your audience and really trick that algorithm into putting you up at the top. And also, speaking of the Instagram thing, reaching out to local Instagram influencers and seeing how they can possibly promote your product or service. Most times these influencers will promote something for free, in exchange for either a product or service, or at a very minimal cost. And it's an easy way for you to talk to your target audience through these several micro influencers that you can really get the word out about your brand or product from a person that they trust and an influencer that they trust. And it's a very easy way to market while social distancing, and get your word out there about your product or service to your target audience. So a little bit more about Instagram stories. Instagram stories have the highest organic reach out of any social media platform, which is insane. So being in Instagram stories is important. Every time someone interacts with your Instagram story, presses a button, answers a quiz question, slides interactivity, anything like that, it counts as an engagement. And when a user engages with your story, that indicates to the Instagram algorithm that, okay, this user wants to see more of our content. Let's make sure that this business is first up when they enter their Instagram feed. So having people interact within your stories is extremely important to the algorithm, and it just gets you right to the top of people's news feeds. So this was a very great example of an easy and fun way to get some engagement. So this product is later, so it's an Instagram scheduling tool. However, what they did in their stories relates nothing to the product, but rather engages their users in some fun interactivity. So would you rather only fly or drive anywhere? Press one of these buttons. Go out or stay in, press one of these buttons. Every time someone interacted or pressed one of those buttons, they had a win. So incorporating all you can into Instagram stories and posting as often as you can really is key to your social media strategy and staying in front of your audience during COVID-19. And it's fun. And also on, social media marketing, and, give you a little bit of a real life example. So I work with Muskegon Civic Theater here in downtown Muskegon. And when COVID hit, shows were suddenly shut down. Ticket revenue had to be returned back to the audience, and there was no revenue. There was no way to generate revenue besides selling, merch and other products. But essentially they had zero revenue for 2 or 3 months straight. And the Community Foundation here in Muskegon was going to promote a match day where any donations on the certain day to any nonprofit in town would be matched. And you got to choose your nonprofit and everything. And we said, okay, we're going to try and make the most out of this match day here. So let's promote the hell out of this And we did, and we promoted every single day leading up to this match day on social media, posted engaging videos of community members talking about the importance of Muskegon Civic Theater and why it's so important to donate and what theater does for the community. And it was promoted every day via Facebook, Instagram stories, and the news feed. And then after 20 days of promotions and, very interactive stories, match day was a huge success, and we raised over $17,000 for Muskegon Civic Theater. So that was awesome. And it just shows the power of social media and promotion, and just how you can connect with your audience and encourage them to help you out during this hard time, because I think you'd be surprised at how willing people are to help, especially when you let them know what kind of tools and resources to help these businesses are out there. So that was a really good example of a business downtown that really succeeded with a good social media campaign during COVID. Number 3, better understand your audience. So I think now is a great time to really take a step back and reassess who your target market is and how you can better convey yourself online to serve them. So, pre-COVID, maybe your audience looked like, we were primarily targeting women in their 40s who worked this type of job, who had this type of family. Well, during COVID, is my product or service still reaching that same target audience? And if so, how can I readjust my marketing campaign to better serve them? So getting a chance to really take a step back and reassess your target audience and their needs is a really great opportunity. And now is a perfect time to do it if you do have extra time. So being able to reassess your target audience through sending out a survey, which is super easy. And it could be very short, 5 to 6 questions, and very straight to the point. And, being able to offer a reward or a discount for completion is an added bonus. And it'll definitely encourage people to fill that out. Gauge what your users want to see on social media. So we were talking about stories a lot today, posting polls in your stories, asking them questions like, hey, do you prefer I post my content as video or pictures? Do you prefer if we do lives or if we post videos later? Or, just gauging what your audience wants to see on social media is very easy and very important. And that just goes right back to playing in an Instagram algorithm again. So a great tool also for, getting to understand your audience better. And now is also an awesome time to run some A/B tests on your marketing campaigns. So if you're doing some email marketing, maybe kind of see what your target market likes a little bit better. Test out different styles, test out different layouts, see what gets a better conversion rate. Now is the time to mess around with marketing and see, what works for you guys. Because not what works for one company just doesn't work for every company, and what worked once doesn't work forever. So, keep testing our limits, and now is a great time to try some new things. Which this is a great example from ThrivePOP. So this is how we, during COVID, we did this during April, kind of gauged our audience on our podcast. So we wanted to see, okay, well, we're making this podcast, let's gauge what our target audience wants for this. So we said in our stories, which podcast topic would you like to listen to? We said, do you want to listen about social media marketing or search engine optimization? Most people said social media. On average, how long are the podcasts you like to listen to? This question, we were trying to gauge whether they prefer a shorter format or they'd rather listen to a longer one. Most people would rather listen to a longer one. What do you hope to get out of a marketing podcast if we did one? Marketing tips, or do you want to learn more about different tools like HubSpot or different social schedulers? The latest content management systems and web dev platforms. So being able to do fun stuff like this is a great way to re-engage with your target audience and to see, maybe we got to reassess some things, and we got to think of our plans with what our target audience wants, which is, kind of brings me to that next point with, creating that new marketing strategy. So, if there is a silver lining in all of this, it's the possibility that businesses can kind of take a step back and kind of press the reset button a little bit, reassess how things have been going during their marketing campaigns and say, wow, things these past 6 months have not been working. Why haven't they been working? Before, you may not have gotten that chance to really sit back, take a step back, look at it from an outsider's perspective and say, okay, this is working, this is not. Who had time to do that before, and you just kept rolling forward with your campaigns, but now is a great time that you can say, okay, we know this isn't working, what do we have to do to fix it? So, setting back and readjusting your marketing campaigns and plans is a super great opportunity you have right now, and to sit there and say, what tactics do I have? What's been working? What's not been working? How do we implement social distancing guidelines in our new marketing plan. So maybe your product or service is affected by the current social, distancing guidelines. Maybe it's not. However, regardless of whether your business has a social distance or not, there is a different need in the market right now. And obviously the market is different. So being able to adjust your different marketing plans you had for the rest of the year is very important. And that also gives you a chance to really reconsider your 4 P's of marketing, which is your product, place, price, and promotion. So looking at your product, does my product or service serve my audience during COVID-19? Maybe my product or service is not even in need during this global pandemic. Is it? Is it not? Do I need to create this need? Is it more in demand? Being able to take a better look at your product and reassess it through the lens of COVID-19. Place. Is my product easily accessible during COVID-19? Do I have a storefront? Is it available online? Do I have all the tools I need to sell online? Am I able to stay open and offer curbside? Being able to relook at that through that COVID-19 lens too helps you reassess things when you're making that marketing plan. Price. Can consumers afford my product or service during this economic crisis? So obviously America is very unemployed right now, and it's the worst it's been since the Great Depression. And it might be time to consider how we price our product or service that, our audience can afford it, because a lot of people are vulnerable right now. We don't want to take advantage of people's economic situations at all. And then promotion. Will consumers respond to my marketing tactics as they had before COVID-19? So taking a look at the different promotions you've done in the past and the different marketing campaigns, or possibly any deals or discounts you've done. Do those still matter to this audience during COVID-19? Does this 10% off even matter to this audience during COVID-19? Being able to reassess these 4 P's really helps you remake that marketing plan for the rest of the year and say, okay, this is happening. This global pandemic is happening. How are we going to adjust, and how are we going to make the most of this, looking through this from a totally different perspective? Which takes me to the next point, to adjust your brand messaging. So obviously things are way different now. Things are way different for your consumers. Their income is different. The marketing landscape is different. So adjusting your brand messaging is critical to staying open during COVID-19. To adjust that properly, just be ethical and don't exploit people's fears. I've seen some businesses, run different ads that kind of exploit people's fear of what's happening in the world right now. And that is not the way to gain customers. And being transparent on how COVID has affected your business is important. However, you don't want to scare your audience, and it's not a good idea to use scare tactics, especially in a vulnerable time like this, because you need to be understanding that your client or your audience or your customers are probably in a vulnerable state of mind right now. And now is not the time to be taking advantage of them. And you should never take advantage of your audience anyway. But especially in this vulnerable state, you shouldn't be selling them on something that they don't need or something that won't benefit them, because people are vulnerable right now, and being able to sell your product in an ethical manner is extremely important. And because things are going to change and things are going to get better, and we just need to stay ethical about all this and focus on building your email marketing list and engage with your audience, and focus on your social media campaigns and all this fun stuff you can do to really serve your audience right now. Because right now businesses need to be there for their customers. And while it's important to pay the bills, and while we have to pay the bills and we have to get new clientele, we need to keep our current customer base as well. So being able to readjust your marketing to better serve that target audience that you currently have is key to staying alive and open during COVID-19 as a business. And eventually things will return to normal. So be smart, be socially conscious, and put your best marketing foot forward. It'll carry you through. Which ThrivePOP is offering some free resources during COVID-19. So all these are available on our website, and you guys can access this at the link below. But we wanted to, extend our help and help different, businesses market and find different ideas during COVID-19, how to adjust. And, we knew that it was important to help people during this time, and we wanted to offer these for free. So we are offering free COVID-19 press releases. So anything relating to how your business is adjusting during COVID-19, different ways you guys are sanitizing or socially distancing, or, you know, different innovative ways you guys are doing business during COVID-19 that you want the local community to know about. And also free COVID-19 social statements. So, you know, articulating how you guys are day-to-day sanitizing your products, how you guys are adhering to social distancing rules and regulations, and how you guys are selling your products online perhaps. That is what we are also offering for free, and we will, you know, curate different social media statements for you and your business. And you can actually get all that info at info.thrivepop.com/resources. And, you know, we wanted to say we're here to help, and we love to talk about new ideas and love to generate new ideas. And we would love to, you know, sit down and talk with you about how you're going to move forward. And we wanted to give you guys a free marketing brainstorming session. So we would have a call with you. We will not be in person. Normally we would love to be in person and talk with you guys and visit where you guys work and everything. But, you know, we'll even mask up during our web call. But we want to give you guys a free marketing brainstorming session, and we can chat online, and we can assess what marketing plan you have moving forward, and just how you can adjust those things to really make the most out of your marketing, and, you know, pivot all these different strategies you may have to really get the most out of, you know, COVID-19. And while, you know, it's a hard time out there, you know, hopefully there's a silver lining in the fact that more people are online, and there's a lot of new opportunities out there too. So we're here to help, and you can get that at the link below as well. So we'll send you guys an email after all of this, and we'll send a recap, and we'll give you guys all these different links where you can get these resources. But you can also get that at info.thrivepop.com/brainstorm. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I want to know if you had any questions for us. And that's where we end.